My husband's shirt had lipstick stains when he got home. Must be from a coworker's hug, he laughed. But later that night, his phone buzzed, a text saying, "Hope my lipstick didn't give us away." My blood ran cold. The next morning, I told him I had a surprise date night planned. "Dress nice," I smiled. When we arrived at the restaurant, he froze. Sitting at the table was her. I pulled out my phone, pressed play on a voicemail, and watched as his smirk vanished. Then I leaned in and whispered, "Enjoy your last meal with me." I, 46 female, have been married to my husband Mark, 48 male, for 18 years. We live in Columbus, Ohio. 2 kids. A dog. A house we bought together right after our second child was born. You know, the picture-perfect setup that looks good from the outside. I work part-time at a local community center and handle most of the house stuff. Mark works full-time downtown in IT for a big insurance company. He's the kind of guy who always seemed dependable, responsible, low drama. We weren't the most romantic couple in the world anymore, but that happens after nearly 2 decades, right? I thought we were okay. Not amazing, not terrible. Just okay. It started with the shirt. Thursday night. He got home late. Later than usual, around 8:15 p.m. I was in the kitchen, reheating his dinner. He gave me this quick side hug and said, "Hey, sorry, crazy day," and walked off to the bedroom. As he was walking by, I saw it. A smudge. Right on his shirt collar. Red. Lipstick red. I stared at it for a second. My stomach dropped. Then I followed him down the hall. "Mark? What's that on your collar?" He looked down, then gave me this weird, half-hearted laugh. "Oh, that? Probably from one of the girls at work. Jessica maybe? You know how she is, always hugging people, too much makeup." He said it so casually, like it wasn't even worth a second thought. I nodded. Didn't say anything more. But I didn't buy it. Jessica from HR? He'd mentioned her once before, but never like that. Still, I didn't press it. I stood there while he changed and told myself not to overthink. But that sick feeling? It didn't go away. The text that confirmed everything. That night, we were in bed watching TV. Around 11, he said he was going to shower. He left his phone on the nightstand. Now, I've never been the type to snoop. We had an understanding. But I couldn't help it. Something in my chest was screaming that something was wrong. A buzz lit up the screen. "Hope my lipstick didn't give us away, Lila." My whole body froze. Lila? I opened the message thread. I wish I hadn't, but I did. Lila, hope my lipstick didn't give us away, Mark, you worry too much. She didn't notice. Lila, she's not suspicious? Mark, trust me. She's clueless. Clueless. I sat there, reading it again and again. My hands were shaking. My ears were ringing. I couldn't breathe right. He came out of the bathroom 5 minutes later. Towel around his waist. Humming. I had already put the phone back. He slid into bed, kissed my shoulder, and I pretended to be asleep. I didn't move. I didn't say a word. Just laid there, facing the wall. My heart was racing the entire night. The next morning, I didn't cry. I planned. I got up before him. Got the kids ready. Made coffee. Acted normal. Inside, I was spiraling. But something switched in me. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to fall apart. I was going to catch him red-handed. I told him over breakfast, "Hey, I've been thinking, we haven't had a real date night in forever." He looked up from his phone, surprised. "Yeah? I'm planning something special for Saturday. Just us. Dress nice, okay?" He smiled. "That sounds amazing, Ratch. That smile made my skin crawl. I smiled back. Then, while he was at work, I did my research. I remembered him talking about a new restaurant, La Bella Vita. He mentioned going there for lunch a couple of weeks ago, said it was too fancy for a normal workday. Something told me that was their spot. I called and made a reservation. 4-3. Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. Saturday. D-Day. I spent the entire day getting ready. I didn't even know why I bothered. Maybe I wanted to feel strong. I curled my hair. Wore that red dress he used to love. Did my makeup like I was going on a first date. He wore his charcoal gray suit. The one he usually saves for special events. He even dabbed on cologne. Funny, right? The drive was short. About 20 minutes. He was in a good mood. Talking about his week. I didn't say much. I just nodded, smiled when I needed to. We walked into the restaurant together. Candlelight, live piano music, all that fancy stuff. The hostess greeted us. Reservation for 3? Mark blinked. 3? I smiled. Yes. She's already here. Mark turned his head, and there she was. Lila. Sitting at a corner table. Wearing a tight black dress. Nervously swirling wine in her glass. Her eyes met his, then flicked to me. She knew. Right then, she knew. Mark froze. Completely stiff. I took his hand gently, guiding him toward the table like nothing was wrong. My heart was pounding so loud, I could barely hear the music. We sat down. No one said a word. Then I pulled out my phone. Opened the voicemail app. Pressed play. Lila's voice came out loud and clear. Hey babe. Last night was so perfect. I still can't believe we pulled it off. I love you. Mark's mouth opened. Then closed. Like a fish gasping for air. I leaned in across the table, calm, slow, steady. And whispered, enjoy your last meal with me. The silence at the table was unbearable. I could hear the silverware clinking from other diners' plates. Lila's wine glass trembled in her hand. Mark looked like he wanted to crawl under the table. I sat there. Calm. On the outside. Inside, I was ready to scream. Lila was the first to speak. I didn't know she was going to be here. Mark looked at her like she'd just shot him. Why would you say anything? Don't talk right now. I turned to him, slowly. Why not? I want to hear everything. Don't you? He didn't answer. He couldn't. His face was pale. Sweat started beading on his forehead. I looked at her again. She was younger than me. Probably early 30s. Pretty. The kind of pretty that doesn't need effort. Brown hair, light makeup, expensive perfume I could smell from across the table. Tell me, Lila. How long has this been going on? She looked down, then muttered, 6 months. 6 months. I blinked. That number hit like a brick. That wasn't a slip. That was a full second life. Vacations, dinners, family nights, he did all that while seeing her? Mark opened his mouth. Rachel, let me explain, shut up. I said it softly, but it was sharp enough to cut through steel. The couple sitting 2 tables over looked up. Lila looked like she wanted to melt into the floor. I didn't know he was still with you like that. He said things were over. That you were just living together for the kids. That was the first lie I heard out loud from her. And maybe not even hers, his, fed to her. We sleep in the same bed, I said. We eat dinner together. We go to the kids' games. Does that sound like it's over? She didn't answer. Mark finally found his voice. Rachel, please. Let's go outside. This isn't the place, no. You sit. You eat. You enjoy this last little fantasy. Because it ends tonight. He sat back, defeated. Like he already knew. Then came the second twist. The part one wasn't ready for. Lila leaned forward. I'm pregnant. My entire body went still. I looked at her, then at Mark. Is she joking? Mark didn't answer. I asked again, louder. Mark, is she telling the truth? His mouth opened. Closed. He looked at Lila. Then at me. Finally, he whispered, yes. That was it. The final knife. Everything blurred for a second. The room, the lights, the music, it all disappeared. All I could see was the table, the candlelight, and this man I thought I knew. You got your mistress pregnant? Rachel, I stood up. I didn't care who was watching anymore. I didn't care if the whole restaurant heard. I wasn't going to cry in front of them, but I wasn't going to pretend either. You had me. You had a family. And you threw it away. For what? A fling? A new baby with someone who barely knows you? Lila whispered, I didn't mean for this to happen. I turned to her. I'm not mad at you. I didn't marry you. He did. He made promises to me. She looked down again. Didn't argue. Then I turned to Mark. You better get ready. Because everything you've built, everything you've lied to protect, it's gone. And you're going to feel it. I walked out. Straight through the restaurant. Past all the quiet stares and half-chewed food. My hands were shaking. I couldn't breathe right. I got into the car and sat there. The anger hit me like fire. But so did something else. Something cold. Regret. Not because I still loved him. But because I wasted 18 years on a man who could lie to me that easily. And now, he was going to be a father again. To her child. I didn't go home right away. I drove to a Walmart parking lot and just sat there under one of those yellow lights that buzz overhead. I turned my phone on silent and stared out at nothing. My thoughts were loud. Every memory, every holiday, every I love you, it all kept flashing in my mind like some cruel highlight reel. But something kept bothering me. A feeling I couldn't shake. The pregnancy. The way Lila said it. The way she looked at him. I pulled out my phone. Opened Facebook. I hadn't done it earlier because I didn't even know her last name. But now I did, because I remembered it showing up on Mark's phone screen when I opened the message. Lila D. I typed it in. Searched. Scrolled. There she was. Lila Dennison. Public profile. Then came the twist I didn't expect. She wasn't single. In her profile pictures, there was another man. Same guy in picture after picture, at a beach, hiking, even one where he was kissing her on the forehead. Her about section said, engaged to Kyle B. Since February. February. They'd been seeing each other since November. I almost laughed. It was too much. Too messy. Too ridiculous to be real. I clicked on Kyle's profile. It was private, but his cover photo was her. Her hand on his chest, engagement ring shining in the sunlight. So now the man who cheated on me got cheated on too. I felt sick. Not from sympathy, just from the absurdity of it all. Mark wasn't just having an affair. He was having one with a woman who was also living a double life. So I did what anyone would do in that moment of chaos. I screenshotted everything. Every post. Every photo. Every date stamp. Her tagged posts with Kyle. Her baby bump picture from just last week with the caption. So thankful for our little surprise 2 hearts, Kyle had commented, can't wait to be your husband and her dad. I sat there for a long time. Then I started typing. I sent Kyle a message. Nothing dramatic. Just the screenshots. Then a message, "Hi Kyle. You don't know me, but I think you need to see this. Your fiancé and my husband have been sleeping together for at least 6 months. She's pregnant, and she says it's my husband's. I thought you should know." I didn't send it right away. I saved it in drafts. My hand hovered over the send button, but something made me stop. Maybe because I knew once I pressed it, there was no going back. That night at home, Mark came home later than usual. Around 11 p.m. I was in bed, lights off, pretending again. He opened the door, paused. "Rachel?" I didn't answer. He sighed and sat on the edge of the bed. I could smell her perfume on him again. "You ambushed me," he said quietly. "At the restaurant." I sat up. "Ambushed? You think that was an ambush? You lied to me for half a year. You brought her into our lives, into my life. And you feel ambushed? She didn't want to meet like that. You made her look, I made her look what?" I snapped. "Like someone who's sleeping with a married man? Because that's what she is." He rubbed his face. "She's not a bad person." "And what am I? The dumb one?" He didn't answer. So I told him what I found. That she's engaged. That she's been lying to him too. His mouth dropped open. "What? No, she's not." "She told me, yeah." "She told you," I said. "Just like you told me nothing was going on." He was quiet for a long time. Then he whispered, "I don't know what to do." And I laughed. A long, bitter laugh. Because for the first time, he realized he wasn't the only one lying. He was just as replaceable as I was. The next morning was a Saturday. The house was too quiet. The kids were out. My sister had picked them up the night before because I told her I needed space. I didn't tell her why. Mark came into the kitchen where I sat with my coffee, eyes dry but body exhausted. He looked like he hadn't slept either. He still had that panicked, cornered look in his eyes. "I need to talk," he said. I didn't respond. Just let him speak. He pulled out a chair. Sat down across from me. Didn't touch the coffee I had poured for him. It sat there untouched like everything between us. "I made a mistake," he started. "No," I said, staring straight at him. "You chose a mistake. Over and over. 6 months worth." He lowered his head. "I was stupid. I was lost. I didn't mean to fall for her." "But you did," I said. "And you got her pregnant." He looked up, eyes red. "I didn't even know about that until last week." "Still doesn't change what you did." And then I asked him something that had been eating at me since the night before. "Were there others?" He looked at me. Then away. I knew the answer before he spoke. 2. That was it. 2. Just a number, like it didn't matter. I felt something tear inside of me. Like a cord finally snapping. And then, like timing from some twisted script, there was a knock at the door. We both froze. I walked over and opened it. Kyle was standing there. Lila's fiancé. He looked at me, then at Mark. "I got your message," he said. His voice was steady, but his eyes were filled with quiet fury. Mark stepped forward. "Look, man, I didn't know," Kyle cut him off with a laugh. "You didn't know? You didn't care. You think you're the only one whose life got screwed?" I tried to step between them, but Kyle wasn't yelling. He wasn't wild. He was calm, like someone who already accepted the disaster. "She told me the truth last night," Kyle said. "After I showed her the screenshots. She cried. Said she was scared, confused, all of that." Mark tried again. "I didn't mean to ruin anything." Kyle stepped closer, nose to nose. "You ruined everything." And then he left. Just like that. No fists. No shouting. Just turned around and walked back to his car. I closed the door slowly. Mark stood there, pale. Shaking. You should go, I said. My voice was calm. Empty. He nodded, but didn't move. Then he did something I wasn't expecting. He cried. Not a single tear. A full collapse. He dropped to the floor in the hallway, knees pulled in, hands covering his face. I ruined everything, he sobbed. I ruined you. I ruined the kids' lives. I don't even know why I did it. I just felt like something was missing. That broke me more than the lies. Because I had given everything. My youth. My time. My body. My trust. And somehow, he still felt something was missing. I sat down across from him. And for a moment, I felt nothing. Just numb. Then I said, you have to tell them. The kids. Not me. I can't, he whispered. They'll hate me. Then you shouldn't have done it. He moved out 2 days later. Stayed in a hotel for a while before getting an apartment. The kids were confused. Hurt. Our daughter didn't speak to him for weeks. Our son asked me, did you not love each other anymore? How do you answer that? He told them. He didn't tell them everything, but he told them enough. And I saw it in their eyes, something changed. A line got drawn. That safety they felt around him cracked. I didn't stop them from seeing him. I didn't talk badly about him in front of them. But I also didn't pretend. Word got around. People whispered. Some took my side. Some stayed neutral. A few had the nerve to ask if I could forgive him and move forward for the kids. But I wasn't interested in pretending anymore. My sister told me I should go see a lawyer. So I did. Quietly. I got the paperwork started. One morning, he showed up unannounced. I want to make this right, he said. You can't, I said back. He looked lost. So that's it? No, I said. That's the beginning. It's been 7 months now. The divorce is finalized. We split everything evenly. I kept the house. The kids are healing. So am I. Mark sees them every other weekend. He's civil. Distant. I don't know if he's still with Lila. I don't ask. Kyle and I exchanged emails once. He thanked me for telling him. Said he dodged a bullet. Sometimes, late at night, I replay the dinner at La Bella Vita in my head. Her face. His face. The way my hand didn't shake when I pressed play on that voicemail. I don't feel proud. I don't feel triumphant. I just feel like I survived something. And sometimes, surviving is enough. People think betrayal is loud. But it isn't. It's quiet. Slow. It builds in small cracks. A late meeting. A red smudge. A phone buzz. Until it caves in. But once it breaks, you don't put it back together. You walk through the wreckage. And you keep walking. I don't know what comes next. I don't know if I'll fall in love again, or if I'll even want to. But I know what I won't do. I won't ignore my gut again. And I won't stay quiet to keep someone else comfortable. Not ever again.